There is one very famous misconception about consulting. The case interview prep methodology, it's almost like who's the murderer? And because that is just so interesting, you imagine that your life as a consultant will also look like day in and day out, which is the rigor required in the same analysis in BCG is then the rigor required in the same analysis in a. This is one hack that I can share with all of you, how to handle conflicts, especially when you have ego and pride and the other party also have ego or pride. I would not start my sentence with
here would be going on to working with Big Four or MVP companies or pursuing a lot of strategic roles. What do you think there's one biggest misconception about management consulting and how that translates into real world decision making?
So I have worked in different spheres and phases of management consulting. I've worked in a boutique management consulting firm. I've worked with the McKinsey India chairman when I was in Government of India role. I've worked in traditional Boston consulting group as well. And what you'll realize is there are certain nuances that change. For example, the rigor required in the same analysis in BCG is 10x than the rigor required in the same analysis in a boutique consulting role. That's not to talk down a boutique consulting role. The fact is that BCG, McKinsey, Bain, etc. have a lot of resources at their disposal. So hence you are required to put in that level of rigor into the analysis. Having said that, there is one very famous misconception about consulting. The case interview prep methodology, I absolutely love it. Till date, when I teach my students how to crack a consulting case, policy case, it's almost investigative method. It's almost like who's the murderer, right? And that's why I say that lawyers, consultants and doctors, it's a very common profession. Why? Because you have a thesis and then you find evidence to prove that thesis, or you find evidence on the contrary. And because that case interview methodology is just so interesting, you imagine that your life as a consultant will also look like day in and day out, which is far away from truth. Yes, the first 2 to 3 weeks on a new project or on a new due diligence exercise will look like this, because you will be always in that investigative mode. How can I increase revenue practically? How can I decrease their cost practically? How can I find something that they don't know, even though they have been the ones working in the industry for more than 3 decades? And hence, after a point of time, your day-to-day work is a little bit more grunt work, finding data, cleaning data, convincing clients, convincing your manager, convincing the partner on the case, convincing the senior client, so on and so forth. Why? Because there is no one right answer. If there is no one right answer, what does that mean? That the answer is challengeable. So the most famous misconception is that howsoever interesting that case interview methodology is, and I still love it and I still practice it to keep my wits sharpened, the day-to-day work is many a time not that intellectually rigorous as much as you can imagine. And I think that's the thing with all the roles. Even as a founder and as an executive today, you don't intellectualize things every day.
Correct.
You have to execute also.
I'm going to shift the gears a little bit and ask a little more about your career. What's one project that you worked on with a lot of stakeholders and you had to manage conflicting perspectives? Something from your Tony Blair government experience or the government of India, because something that a lot of us do not have experience about. So,
I mean, the more the people,
okay.
the messier it is always. I'm actually going to pick up another example from my time at BCG.
Okay.
This was a Singapore client in telecom, wanted to invest roughly $100 million in the Indian market. That's the problem statement. Pure play, blue ocean strategy, right? Now what happened was, there was a telecom partner on the table, education, healthcare, gaming, you name it, right? Most of the sectors partners were representing a seat on the table. Where should the $100 million money go to? And mind you, can't have biases that just because I'm a partner representing healthcare, the money should go to healthcare. You need to have a reasoning. So more than the conflict, I learned something, how amicably and how maturely people handle difference of opinion. And this is one hack that I can share with all of you, how to handle conflicts, especially when you have ego and pride and the other party also have ego or pride. Partner, typically you become a partner when you spend a decade in consulting, right? You know that industry in and out. So for example, I am a partner who's representing financial space and you are representing, let's say, infrastructure. You say that the $100 million, I have been in this space and these are the 3 reasons why I should go there. I would not start my sentence with but. I will not even start my sentence with however. I will say I hear you and I have a different perspective to it.
Okay.
These are communication strategies which allow the other person to continue be open to your viewpoint, not take your opinions personally as well. These are small, teeny tiny items that nobody unfortunately teaches us in B school or in any other schools also, right? So these are psychological things. People do not remember what you said to them. They remember how you made them feel. So I'm kind of taking a longish answer. 12 partners on the case. We left the day amicably. We had an answer. And I absolutely admired how do you have a difference of opinion from people while being respectful.